How you doing? Peter Jenkins here from the Saltwater Edge, and again I'm joined by Captain Jarvis of Salt of the Earth Sportfishing, and we have for a couple of months now done a Captain's Corner where we get out and sit down and talk to Ray, who gets out on the water sometimes twice a day, but many times in a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of days.
Lots of days. Inshore, offshore, stripers, albies, bottom fishing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you take a family, sometimes you take a couple hardcore guys. So
it's
you
a good
have
mix.
It's probably a fun way to run your business too.
Yeah. I don't have the same, hardcore guys every day or beginners every day. It's a wide variety. So I'm like, it tests me and it keeps me on my toes and keeps me involved in a lot of different fisheries. So I'm not just like hunting big bass or, catching sea bass for young kids. It's a mix of everything. And you also cover a fair amount of ground. You're headquartered in the Westport, but I know you run us up into Buzzards Bay, you run over here, you run out, you do offshore trips, you do the islands. That's a great place to access all that stuff from too. Yeah, I'm so central there. I mean, I regularly fish upper Buzzards Bay into Woods Hole, Falmouth, all the way down the Elizabeth Islands, over to Newport, Narragansett, upper Narragansett.
That's part of part of what I wanted this to turn into was more of a regional kind of thing. Because it doesn't really, not so much specifics as what is trend-wise going on. And you have this, how many years now of doing this?
On and off since I was 18, so I'm 41, but full-time the last like 8 years.
So you have that those patterns to look back on too.
I do,
So it certainly seems like here we are in August, and I think of that as a transition. We had spring's over, summer started, but now what a lot of people are anxious for, and I saw good evidence of it yesterday when I was on the water, starting to see some of the small bait flush out. That's the kickoff to fall. It doesn't feel like fall, but that small bait, I mean, people have heard me say it before, but that peanut bunker that's an inch long in July is 5 inches by October.
And we're seeing tons of those right now.
Good.
Which is good.
So what do you see? Let's go to that. What do you see out there?
So it's like a faux fall kind of feel. We had some northeast and north breeze the last few days, so it's a little crisper, a little clearer out. No fog for a change, which is nice, but. So there's like that fall feeling in the air, but obviously we're still early August. There's tons of bait around, whether it's silversides or peanut bunker, bay anchovies. Not really seeing much in the way of bunker, but mackerel on the surface. So a wide variety of bait. And with that, we've been seeing the regulars like stripers and blues, lots of sea bass around, but bonito have become steadier and steadier, especially out by the vineyard.
Oh, nice.
And the islands, off the south side of the Cape. And then albies are making more of a presence every day now. So I'm not going to say where, but they're around.
Well, they're mixed in probably with everything else.
And if you cover some ground, I can assure you they are around.
That's great. That's great. Let me ask you an anchovy-specific question. Maybe you know the answer to, but they kind of just appear. Do you know much about where they spawn and where they come from? Because you know what I mean?
It's one thing I really don't. I don't have a heck of a lot of knowledge behind where they come from and how they spawn, their life cycle. But this time of year, you start to see those like brown, dense clouds in the water, and it's they're always a pretty dense bait ball, or they'll be like a little mini shoal of sorts. But just more and more prevalent this time of year, and they're small now, but they get bigger through the season, just like the peanuts. And you'll see the albies and bones and bass and blues on those, and when they're on the little bay anchovies, they're definitely trickier to catch, no matter what fish is eating them.
It does seem like
more tuned in.
That's a good tight schooling bait, though. When the albies or bonito, whoever finds it, it concentrates the activity because they're really almost like a potato peeler working on it, right? They ball it up like you see the marlin videos, right?
It's a slow-moving bait, so it's not able to flee off like peanuts, or I'm still seeing a lot of the Atlantic herring around.
I saw those too. They're a good size.
Yeah, they're solid 4 inches at this point.
That's an SP minnow. I mean, I jump a minnow all day in terms of size.
Day. And so I've still been fishing around those, and when the fish are on those herring, they're a lot tougher to catch because it's kind of up and down, up and down. So the fish are obviously pushing the bait up.
Yep.
And kind of having at them, and then the bait disperses.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get on those bay anchovies or those smaller, bigger schools of peanut bunker, you get those more concentrated feeds.
So yeah, sustained feeds, which is something you're looking for.
Yeah.
But it's also that's also turns into the situation where you could be the billionth piece of bait too.
Right. Yeah. So you have to, in that situation, I'm not casting into the middle of that bait ball. I'm working the edges of it.
Yeah.
Whether I'm jigging or casting, I'm always trying to set it apart from the rest.
Yeah. I also like the idea that, because it's an observation from bluefin on Stellwagen, but you see the big sand eels and the bluefin, and you kind of think that's the whole equation. But that's the best meal around, those big sand eels, right?
Yeah.
So bluefish and other baits, other game fish are feeding on that bait. And the same is true with those smaller ones that we're talking about.
Right.
Squid will be in there, or sea bass.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a feed up top and there's that bait ball isn't moving around much, I mean, try drop a jig around it and you'll catch fluke and sea bass and tautaug and stripers.
Because it's the game in town. I mean, it's
everybody's
they're
there.
eating it too.
Everybody's there.
Yeah. So we talked about bait, sea herring. Good to hear they're still around.
Yep.
We realized both of us got to go and do some homework on bay anchovies. We don't know much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to figure out that life
we like
cycle.
when we see them.
Yep. Yeah. And they always tend to show up now, so we know that.
And peanuts are pretty small, but getting started, they'll grow fast.
Yep.
And so that's the bait kind of recap. What would be some recent catches that were noteworthy to you? Offshore, I'd heard troll bite and jigging for the most part.
Yeah, so guys are still trolling around catching fish. I'm just jigging at this point, and occasionally we'll see fish up top. And fish when they're up top, they're kind of more just like pushing water. Bigger schools of bluefin, not big fish, though I have seen some big fish up top kind of pushing water. And the other day we saw a really big one up top and thought it was a boat wake, and then saw a big swirl and was like, that's a fish.
Holy moly.
Throwing plugs at it, didn't get the bite, but we've gotten bites on other, like when you have bigger schools of fish pushing water, and we're throwing sliders.
Yeah, we brought a couple things out. Do you want to speak to them?
Yeah. So
I know we didn't find the slider you were looking for, but
so Hoagie has this popper, which is great. It's got some rattle. It's going to get attention. We like that.
Do you like the clear version?
I like the clear and the white. Honestly, I've caught fish on the pink.
Yeah.
And there's like a sand eel kind of, it's like a tan finish on it.
Yeah.
That one's great.
Okay.
And the slider is similar to this body shape, but it's a stick bait essentially. Yep. So you just kind of sweep it and catch up to it, and it wiggles.
Yeah.
I've caught a lot of fish in the past just blind casting on slicks offshore, where you see slick water and tuna chicks working.
Yeah.
You cast
Suggesting
into that.
There'd been a feed there?
There had been a feed deeper, and
the oil's rising.
Yeah, whenever you see those slicks, that's like evidence of a feed further down.
Okay.
And so that's something I always look for offshore.
Yeah. Interesting.
Rather than, you don't have the structure that you have inshore, so your structure becomes like these biological indicators. And then, throwing a pro tail into the mix is always a good bet. That's a killer. I like this color. I like the white, and there's like a sand eel.
Are you matching something? Did people? There's a lot of. I'm not as familiar with the offshore baits, but
there's a lot
they're going to eat what they see.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, when they're feeding hard, they're going to eat what they see. If it's an easy meal and it's in their face, who's going to say no to that? Sometimes.
Yep.
So, I find that just kind of getting something in the mix, and not almost like when you're albie fishing, not ripping it out of the school, but swimming it through them and putting it in their face so they can see it.
Yep, and this one is the harness, which has the articulating.
Right, and that one's been good. Some of the fish out there are on whiting.
Yeah.
Even the recreational size fish I found are eating whiting. So I've been using this bigger harness pro tail, as well as the smaller 4 and 5 ounce like this.
Yeah, you good with that hook not being articulating?
Yeah, fine with it. It's a great hook.
Yeah,
I've never bent one.
Okay.
And I find that your hookup ratio is good.
Excellent.
So I've been fishing this bigger one on the bottom, and then the smaller one when I'm marking fish kind of mid to upper water column, I'll drop it down and swim it painfully slow back up to where those fish are and just swim it up 15 feet, drop it down 15 feet.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of bites that way.
Nice.
And then also, obviously, jigging has been killer. I've been using this pink glow from UVT.
Yeah, that short catch. That's
yeah, and this one is
very popular.
It's, you know, one of my go-tos. It's a confidence jig for me.
Is it pink or is it's a knife jig, obviously, but there's a lot of people make those. Is it pink, the pink color? And
I think the pink color has, whether it's a confidence thing for me, a lot of people.
That's okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have been catching on that pink. I've also been catching a lot on the glass color. Yeah.
What's the other color?
They have this color called glass, which is just a silver with a prismy finish.
Okay.
And there's another one that's the Patriot, which is it's like red, white, and blue, prismy finish on it.
Yeah.
And so I'll kind of like fish a glow throughout the day, but early especially, and then I'll switch to those prismy ones, especially on like a bright sunny day.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time you were here. I made note to myself
so
about it.
I always kind of start the day with a glow, you know, and I'll even charge the thing up with my cell phone light before I drop it, and it's just that much more visual, and you know, whether it's getting more attention or more eyes on it, it works.
And then you have, if you have a clear day, is it a more natural color you might use?
Yeah,
Because I think of that as what I do with albies, but I don't have any offshore.
I'll use like a sand eel colored one, and like they have another color called Inferno, or Hoagie has their sand eel like brown and silver, or green and silver, or pink and silver. Those are all great ones as well. They just have, the only difference between these UVTs and the Hoagies I find are kind of the shape of the jig and the way they fall. So I mix it up between the two, and they all work for me.
That's great. So I appreciate the fact that you make a choice about early glow and then brighter day, maybe a dirtier day, a brighter jig.
Yeah. So even on like a cloudy day, I'll still fish glow jigs kind of throughout the day.
All right.
And actually 3 days ago, I was getting fish in the middle of the day, bright sunny day on the pink glow on the shore catch. So
nice.
It works.
All right. So we've covered what's going on out there now. We've covered bait. Let's talk a little bit about what's next. What do you see? I have circled from my last discussion yellowfin tuna, and there's the first thing you brought up when we started. I can't wait to catch a yellowfin.
I know.
Take it away. What do you see up ahead?
So I hope we see some yellowfin. The way I kind of look for those is if we're not seeing surface feeds alone, working the dolphins. And I've caught a lot of fish in the past throwing poppers into the dolphins, because the yellows will hang out with the dolphins.
And aren't yellowfin more commonly caught further south? It's a more regular thing in like Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. I mean, they'll come in closer to Jersey, but Jersey also has that shelf closer to them. So I think they get a lot more eddies than we do up here. We have a lot more flats before we get to that deep water.
Got it.
So the eddies have to kind of really spin off hard to come into our waters. But another way I've caught a lot of yellows is, again, looking for those biological factors. So like the slicks on the surface and the tuna chicks working. It's such a good indicator when you're out there, when you're kind of looking for indicators. And
it's a big ocean.
And I've had
some part.
I've had a lot of clients in the past where I'm like, throw into that slick area there, and we'll throw a Hoagie slider into the mix and just work it through, and boom. Hook up blind. And there's fish around, especially
manufacturing runs in the baseball sense. Right.
And always using my electronics. So if I'm marking fish higher in the water column, I'll blind cast poppers and stick baits and pro tails and
It's one of the comments I'd heard this year, more than once, was that, the troll was working because you weren't seeing very much on your electronics. Right? And so they were higher in the water column anyway, and you weren't getting a look at them.
And you knew they were there.
Because
and I'll even use my side scan when they're shallow like that, and you'll pick them up on the side scan.
Oh, wow.
They'll stand out just like stripers would. So if you have side scan, put your range way out, and you're just looking for little white specks, basically. And you're not going to see the shadow like you would with stripers inshore necessarily. Sometimes you'll get a shadow off of it, but you're really just looking for like the white dots. And if you start seeing more, you can pick your target, throw it 60 feet left, right, whatever.
Let's bring it inshore a bit. because I know you mix up your trips.
Yep.
What do you see? The month of August. What's some of your thought process to let's do this today? Well, on an inshore day.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of I'm less focused on targeting like bigger bass in a summer pattern because there's still that option, but I'm more apt to start kind of like switching gears to more of like a fall run type situation. So now I'm looking for more surface feeds and more exotic fish, so albies, bonito, Spanish mackerel every now and again. I know someone caught a king mackerel recently out in the windmills.
It's about
There's
to
all
get
kinds of stuff.
crazy. I mean, I know every year you kind of like, every year I catch myself saying, God damn, I've never seen so much bait.
Yeah.
But last year, probably on the same day, you said the same thing.
Right, and there is so much bait around.
Yeah.
And it really
blows your mind.
Yeah, it blows your mind, and it comes to a front when you actually start to see it and realize.
Yeah.
And then the fish find it, and you start to pattern kind of like where the bait is and what it's doing and how it moves around. And so I'm more focused on fishing smaller baits inshore, like epoxy jigs and surface erasers, small pro tails, and looking for those surface feeds, but also jigging around those situations as well. So last year we caught a lot of bones and albies vertical jigging. So using like heavier epoxy type jigs or like Hoagie's heavy metals that get down quick, and it's basically this micro. And we were catching bones, we were catching albies. I took Tyler and Kobe out there, and we were getting fish vertical jigging when people weren't catching them casting.
Interesting.
So
because it's true that the albie in some sampling of their diet, they found bottom dwelling baits in their belly. So they do all this on the surface that we see, but they do this as a motion, but apparently they go all the way down and shout on there too.
Again,
not as aggressively.
Using my electronics, and they mark differently than stripers or bass would. I mean, stripers or blues would, but so when you can recognize that on your electronics, and dropping a jig down is a great option, just like you would do offshore.
Sounds great. And then, is there anything like, on this moon, that's when I start to look for this, or is there anything else in the go forward next couple of weeks that you're, I appreciate what you already said about change of tactics. I was just wondering if there's anything that's essentially a milestone. We should get this girl a little credit. That's Albie.
It's her time of year.
Yeah, it's your time of year, girl. Let's get going.
So I'm less worried about the moon right now, unless I'm offshore, because around the full moon, the tuna bite seems to slow down. So, it was the last like 4 days. We got fish every single day, but it was tougher on some days. And some of my buddies are like, it's the moon, and it makes sense. You've got more water moving, and you don't get as much of a slack there. That's just, who knows, really.
It's fishing.
There's so much to it. But certain times are better than others, and this time of year, I'm less worried about moon phase and things like that. I'm looking for moving water. I'm looking for bait. I'm looking for birds. And
they're all kind of, the bait and the birds probably more abundant and more obvious than they've been in the past, where they were up in the estuaries and things like that.
Now you're seeing like more cormorants out in the middle of the bay or on the islands or slightly offshore. And that's really my biggest indicator right now.
Excellent.
I'm covering a lot more ground this time of year. Some days I'll do 40, 50, 60 miles.
Because it's happening somewhere.
And
is that the logic?
Because I know it's happening somewhere. And I'll follow the tide kind of around, and also just the bait. And so if I know there's bait here, but there's no fish on it, I know there's bait somewhere else with fish on it. Good. So, really solid. Excellent. Good time of year to burn a lot of fuel.
Good time of year to take a charter with Saltwater Earth Sportfishing. Did you see what I did there?
That's a good transition.
Yes. And Captain Ray Jarvis, we'll have this in the show notes, but 401-269-1563. Or jarvisfish@gmail.com.
It's great.
See you in September. Actually, I'll see you next Wednesday.
We're going offshore.
There you go. Sounds great. Take care, buddy.
Thanks.